It's been a little while since I've done a video because I have a concert to go to tonight. I'm going to start with MAC Prep and Prime. I'm going to start with this because it's a little bit moisturizing. My skin's feeling slightly dry. It's been a little bit cooler here than it has been. Excuse the slew of really unattractive faces that just happened. All right, so what we're going to try and do while this sinks in, so I'd like to do kind of a twist on a cat eye, because like everybody kind of can do a cat eye, everyone can do that kind of look. I want to do something different. So that was primer, just because my face has been a little dry. I don't normally wear a whole ton of primer. Usually while I wait for my primer to sink in, I will go in with a pointy slanted brush. And lately my favorite thing has been Kat Von D or Anastasia Beverly Hills. I really find their formulas pretty similar and both really long lasting and really buildable. And I go in with light brown because my hair is kind of a grayish brown at the root. So let me do that. All right, so I'm back. They're mostly even. I went with a little bit more arch than I normally would have just because I'm going for a little bit of an edgier look. Now, foundation-wise, I live in Florida. I'm looking outside right now. It looks like the sun is coming down with no vengeance, but supposedly it's going to be in like, there is a hair, like in the 70s. And we're inside, but like when you're in a concert, I don't know if like people out there have done this kind of thing. It can get really hot and really gross real fast. So one of the foundations that I like, because it actually stands up to like my work day, which is pretty sweaty in itself running around, is the Dior Forever foundation. I'm shade 0N, which means paler than pale on pale neutral. So this is kind of an expensive foundation. If you want to throw it on your Christmas list, throw it on your Christmas list. If you want something that's slightly more affordable that also kind of will stand up to a running around, the Estee Lauder double wear, I wear 1NO and 1N0 porcelain in that, if you're a similar shade range to me. And then the other one, it's not my favorite just because I find it a little cakey and a little heavy. And I accidentally got it in a color, well, I was shade matched, too dark for me, is the Huda Beauty. Is this the faux filter one? I don't know. In shortbread. Yeah, faux filter, high coverage. So it's a little, I don't particularly care how it turns out. So I'm gonna go in with this Dior. When I'm doing looks like this, I don't mind if I start out, see, like it looks a little pale for me at first, but it's like the same color as my neck. Like if you go to Sephora and you get shade matched, some of them will come up to you and they'll put like the thing right here. If you're passive like me and you don't like to say things, just kind of like tilt your head a little bit because you want it to match down here. You know, especially if you're somebody like me who's got them double chins going on. Right, so I do my eyebrows before I do my foundation. Here's the thing. Having eyebrows on kind of helps me picture my whole look. And yeah, I just use a beauty blender like everybody else on the planet. Sometimes I will use a MAC 170 brush. That doesn't quite work for this look. I find that works really well with thicker foundations and of course some MAC foundations, which I do have a few. So okay, make sure you get her on your mouth, please. I have a lip mask on right now because I've been really sick and really dehydrated. I'm probably gonna wear some sort of lip, even if it's just like a tinted lip balm tonight. So my obsession like the last year has been the Laneige, and they came out with a apple lime, and I was like, yeah, that's right up my alley, heck yes. My eyebrows are always usually on before my foundation. It gives me an excuse and it forces me to slow down, let my primer sink in or my moisturizer. Usually I just moisturize before I put on foundation. Tea. I did about 4 squirts of this. Usually I do about 2 sides. Like I'll kind of just like boop, 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 boop. All right, so stuff like this, I like to make sure I don't go, I'll go around my eyes, but I'll squeeze and make sure I don't get under my eye. Because one of the things that you're gonna notice is if you do that, that's when you're gonna start getting that real aggressive cakiness and wrinkling and crepiness, or whatever the term is that they use. Let's get my double chin a little bit. Get this little spot behind the ear, especially if you have short hair like me. This is noticeable when it doesn't match the rest of your body. So I'm gonna go back in with concealer under my eyes, and if you do that, then all of that product sits there. Tarte Shape Tape in Fair. It is a little light for me, like for once, but I do use it to slightly contour. So doing my eyebrows first forces me to slow down, let my primer or moisturizer sink in, and kind of woosah for a moment. So I also, as somebody with a double chin, go in and get a little bit of a jaw there. I go in and get a little bit of a jaw there, messy, and I go in here. I use the same beauty blender. There was an Instagram video and I was laying in bed next to my husband looking at it, and she used like 4 beauty blenders on her face, like in one look. I was like, girl, come on, you do not need that. Stop it. Right. I also did that in reverse order of how I put it on. And real careful, if you are one of those people that contours your nose and you use a liquid highlight on your nose to kind of start the contouring process, have a light hand. Otherwise you are going to blend that out. You're gonna widen that nose bridge. And then we're gonna get up here. See how I just kind of bring that out along my cheekbone where I'm gonna want kind of, like I said, I'm doing a little bit of an edgier look. All right. And while I do this, you're gonna see me awkwardly shaking off camera. That's because I'm getting some loose powder ready. All right, and then I take that Tarte Shape Tape and I also use it as an eyeshadow base. I already have fairly defined cheekbones, but one mistake with your makeup and shaping and how you lay like a light color like this can really make a difference. So here's where I might use 2 different beauty blenders at once. Like I said, because yeah, the girl on the Instagram video, she's like using like 6. I'm like, stop it. You are telling people who do not have Instagram money, who do not have YouTube money, who have regular jobs or are making Christmas wish lists for their parents, that they need 6 of these. They're $20 each. Times 6, that's $120 in sponges. I'm using the Jeffree Star translucent setting. Go right under that eye. Some people will do their eyes before they do their base because of fallout. I find not only is the Jeffree Star one of the only, right over the jaw, translucent powders that doesn't just like fall right off when I try to bake or anything with it, but it actually like will act almost like a shield. So this is the only time that I will go in. I'm sorry I'm a little bit all over the place, but I'm trying to make sure that I kind of cover everything. This is the real first time I've kind of ever done a real makeup look and put into words how I do makeup, because people are always like, you should do that. And I'm like, I don't talk so good. All right, so there's that. So the setting powder is going to kind of act like a little bit of a shield. And I will use my beauty blender, a separate beauty blender, or you can use kind of like a tightly packed dense brush to dab that on. But it's going to act like a shield every time something starts to fall. All right, so now we're going to get in with the eyes. I'm going to go in from like 4 different palettes right now. First thing I'm going to do is I use the Kat Von D contour and highlight. I'm going to use that highlight color to set my eyelid. So here's my plan. We're going to see if it works out or if we're going to have another episode of this didn't go as I planned. If you haven't watched that video, feel free. It's like currently my most watched video, and I'm like, I don't know if it's because people are clicking on this because like they think it looks like maybe a decent human being that isn't me did it, or if like they think it looks hilarious because I look ridiculous. All right, so I decided we're gonna live on the edge and use our phalanges. Saint Center palette, because I want like a red. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go in with Ashes first. You're gonna see me like this, and I'm gonna kind of all over with this just to set a little bit of a base. And I like to go a little bit out. And this is really close to my natural skin tone. I mean, it's darker obviously, but it's a really nice kind of taupey color. So you can kind of blend it a little bit. And I don't want it to really be noticeable that it's there because it's not gonna be kind of like the bell of the ball. All right. So I'm gonna get a little close, and I'm sorry. So all I did was kind of place that here and then diffuse it up a little bit. Again, like, don't be afraid to use your fingers because there are some looks that don't really call for a brush. Right, and I'm gonna kind of blend that to the point that there's literally no seam between where it starts and my brow bone begins. And fingers do that, I think, in my opinion, in a lot of cases, better than brushes do. I'm going to take something that I can kind of pack with, and I think we're going to play with one color. If it doesn't give us the payoff that we want, we're going to go in with something different. I have the Kaja Sparkling Rosé, and I want middle color because that's what we had decided before. Stop second guessing yourself. All right, back in with the finger. That's what it looks like. See, it comes out a little more red. I want to lay that on the eyelid. And I'm gonna kind of give it a little bit of an upturn at the end. Just when you start to get to the end of your eye, a little bit of an upturn. And I don't really want to blend this all the way up because we're going to play around with this later. There. We may go in with another color just to give this a little more oomph-itty oomph oomph. We'll see how we feel. Let's call this done. And we'll go back in and we'll play with it in a minute. Next things next. Eyeliner. People ask me about eyeliner. They don't know that I do YouTube. I'm just wandering around my day-to-day life, humble brag, and they ask me about eyeliner. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I use this eyeliner. I use this eyeliner. I use Clinique eyeliner. I use any type of liner that I want. Another really good drugstore version is the Maybelline Eye Studio. It's a gel pot liner. It gives you a little bit more control. It stays all day. It does not smudge. However, good luck trying to get it off at the end of the day. So I'm going to do one of these on camera, but for sake of like not boring you guys to death, I'm going to do the other one not on camera. Get a mirror that you can look into. Picture it to yourself, what you want to do. I want a dramatic, a pointier, halfway between a Lady Gaga eye and halfway between an Amy Winehouse eye. So that's what we're doing. We're picturing in our heads, we're bringing in, we're calling Bob Ross down to give us a steady hand, okay? I do start on my outer corner, okay? This is the Too Faced Better Than Sex. You can see it has a really nice fine point, which is what I like, and it has very minimal drag. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna find my crease here. I'm sorry I'm at the bottom of the screen. Maybe I can kind of angle you guys down a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna draw a line. Start with as little pressure as you can and get thicker. Okay, so now we have our first line. This is the bottom line of our eyeliner, okay? Now, straight across. Straight across. Fill it in. There we go. I can make this bigger if I want. I can make it smaller if I want. That's it. Sometimes I will go over and I'll do the same thing on this side, but for this sake, I'm going to finish this eye and then I'll do this one off camera. All right, so think to yourself, how far do I want this to go in? Okay, I kind of want it to go all the way today. Start with small, teeny strokes as close to the lash line as you can get. Okay, you can barely even see it on the camera. Teeny tiny lash strokes. Okay, and then join everything together. There you go. Now you have eyeliner on. You want me to get close so you can see that? It's not lumpy, it's not bumpy, it didn't drag. We're gonna blend that forehead a little more. So I want a little more than this for this look. So now that we have our base liner, this would be like a perfect everyday date night. It's a little out there, you know. If you guys want a video that's literally just like, because I have like 10 to 15 different eyeliner looks that I do. Let me know, like this video, subscribe, stick around. I'm trying to kind of see how people like things. I'm gonna thicken this up a little bit. So in that sense, I'm not going to extend it out any farther, but I'm gonna give it a little more. We're gonna feed this thing a little more cheeseburgers. Now here's my one thing with liner. If you are a beginner, do not get discouraged. I have been putting on winged eyeliner, I would say about 90% of my days for about 10 years. I'm old, y'all, I'm old. So I'm gonna get a little closer to you so you can see what we did. I just thickened that up where you can see here. Ooh. Okay, we're just gonna fill in that little gap skis that happened there. Okay, perfect. Ish. I don't know yet. We'll get close and then I'll be mad about it again. All right, so yeah, it's still there. We did our line. We made a little triangle. We filled it in. We decided how far in we wanted it to go. Okay, little teeny increments. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side and I will be back. So here's where I want to do a little bit of a different kind of thing. I am going to go in and kind of blend out some of this baking because I'm going to be contouring in a minute and I'm going to forget that I didn't. I'm going to leave as much as I can under my eyes though, because I'm going to go in with some of this red. I am going to go in with some Kat Von D Saint and Sinner palette because these colors, like, here's my thing with palettes. You're going to see a lot of people online and they're going to have these eyeshadow palettes and you're going to be like, oh my God, I need it. It's beautiful. you don't like actually need it. Here's my rule. If you are not going to use at least 50% of those colors, you do not need it, okay? So I'm laying down rosary just like in a couple of these little spots and close to that eyeliner. Just want to darken up this red. And those Kaja colors, Kaja, are beautiful. And I kind of want to do a look with them, but they're not quite red enough for what I'm trying to do today. My nose is running. Okay, so that was Rosary, and now I kind of want to go in with Rapture, which is this kind of really shimmery, glittery red. And I'm just using an angled brush here. And I'm gonna kind of just dabbity dab, you know? I'm gonna follow along the edge of that eyeliner with that red. We'll leave that under eye baking there, and we'll do a little bit of contouring. Now, I say a little bit of contouring, and I really do mean a little bit of contouring. It is the one thing that, like, for some reason, unbeknownst to me, I cannot really get. Okay, that was Jeffree Star brush too. This is the Jeffree Star Morphe JS3, okay? And I'm gonna go into my Kat Von D Shady Light. I'm pale, so I need like a really not that warm tone. This is Sombre, or Somber. Really light hand, right above where my cheek divot actually starts, and in kind of soft motions. And I don't like to go past kind of like halfway. And today's kind of, like I said, a little bit of a more aggressive look. So we're going to do a little more than we normally would. For kind of closer up looks at this, I'm going to post them, I think, on my Instagram, just so you guys can really see what I mean by like the eyeliner being a little bit thicker. I do as minimal of editing as I can on my Instagram. Like, I'm not going to like Facetune anything, so you guys can really see how these foundations lay, how this powder lays. I find that Jeffree Star translucent setting powder is actually one of the first translucent setting powders that, instead of like a cast of like darker than my skin tone, it actually leaves a little bit of a white cast. So I'm gonna go up the sides of my nose just a little. My nose is running because I have a septum ring, and it like makes my nose run like crazy. Okay, so see how like just really delicately on the side of the nose bone, really light-handed. Like, you should barely be able to feel this brush on your nose. This is probably going to be a longer video than I've been posting, but a lot of people have been asking for an actual makeup tutorial, and I've been a little hesitant to do one, but I've met some people recently who have actually told me in person, like, no, please do one. So here we are, we're doing one. And I like to do just a little underneath where my nostrils meet the rest of my chunky chomp face. All right, now that brush goes over there. Now we are going to bust out a large angled brush, because here's what your homegirl does. And people are like, girl, you lose weight. And I'm like, no, I contoured behind the ear really lightly. I barely had any of this on the brush. I clicked off most of it. Okay, up. Do not forget to go behind your ear. Okay, and then really lightly. Now, it's not going to make your double chin go away. Okay, and I'm not saying that you need to. I personally don't like mine. We're not friends. We fight. We're not, you know, we're not on good terms. So I like to hide her away. Oh, you know what else I'm gonna do? My forehead isn't gonna really be out, but I have this widow's peak to rival all peaks. Like, I feel like I got a big old forehead, which is fine. I just got noggins in there. It's filled with Disney trivia and like, I don't know, fine dining and breathing like SpongeBob. Okay, clean that up. All right. And I have one Eco Tools brush that I specifically like to do this with. This one. It is an Eco Tools angled liner brush. All right, so I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry because I love their black in this noir. Okay. And all that effort that I just put in to making this liner nice and straight and pretty, I'm gonna undo. So let's bring you guys down with me a little bit, down on my level. And I'm going to just kind of diffuse that out a little bit. Right along. Oh, we made a mistake already. Bob Ross, where were you? It's fine, we're gonna blend it in. So all I did was kind of diffuse that out. So it's just not so perfect. But I kind of want a messy, kind of punk inspired eyeliner. I'm also gonna put just a little bit of this on my lower lash line. Okay, flick away that fallout. That's why I leave that baking there. Just flick away that fallout. And yes, this is a little bit of an aggressive look. This is not what you're gonna wear with your friends to the movies unless you want to, because you know what, if this is what you want to do when you're going out to like the movies and stuff, and this is what you want to look like every day, then freaking you look like this every day, and you don't let anybody tell you that you shouldn't look like this every day, because this is what I looked like for 90% of my life, and I got real tired of people telling me that I shouldn't. That gets real old real fast. Do you want people telling you how you should be wearing your makeup and how you should be looking? No. So don't go around telling other people how they should be wearing their makeup and how they should be looking. It's none your business, okay? It's none your business. And let them do them and you do you. Because you know who you're good at doing? You. You're good at being you, so you be you. Y'all, I've been looking for a red this whole time. I have not had coffee, so please excuse me. Let's get in there with blood sugar. Duh. Tap off your excess. People don't do that and it drives you crazy. And I want that just at the edges. Thank you, Jeffrey, for creating a red palette for those of us who needed a red. So it's coming off a little orangey on camera, but you see how that kind of gave us like this really nice juxtaposition. Actually, it's coming off a little brown on camera. Let's add a little more of that with that black, and we're gonna go right along where our liner is, and then we're gonna blend with our finger there, right along where that liner is. Okay. So now I want to give just a little bit of difference back in there in the middle, and I'm gonna add sugar cane right there to kind of diffuse that out. Also going to take a brush that this is not what this brush is made for, but I'm gonna do it because this brush, to me, keep going in with red while I do this, does this perfectly. So I'm going in with cherry soda while we talk. So yeah, that's what mama wanted. Red. So I have a brush that's made for like concealer. But you know what I like to use it for? I like to use it for under my eyes. All right, here it is. It is an Eco Tools angled foundation brush. I do not use it for foundation. I don't use it for angles. I use it for literally, it's like the perfect width for me to take and just touch into the color I want and go right under the eye. It's perfect. Because I have brushes that are like rounded, but it's almost like they bring it down too far for me. And as somebody who has like really baggy under eyes, drawing attention to that by like letting eyeshadow crease up into them is not my idea of fun. You can feel free to leave it like this. Remember I said liner's a pressure game. Where you want a thin line, do no pressure. Where you want a thick line, do lots of pressure. Please remember that in your future adventures. That's the secret to eyeliner. Nobody ever says it because they're like, oh, then they'll keep watching my videos. I hope you keep watching my videos because I like you and I like making them. And I'm working on getting my confidence back after a really hard 2 years. And you know what? We can work on doing things like that together because I don't think anybody nowadays has real confidence. It makes me sad. I want them to have real confidence. What do we want to do? Kat Von D Thunderstruck as a highlight. If you are pale, this is the perfect highlighter for you. And I think that's what I'm gonna do. Because it's nice and white and it gives off this really beautiful, the camera's not really picking up on it right now and I'm just like piling more of it on my face and it looks ridiculous. Down that nose. So I would do blush sometimes. If you are going to do a blush with this look, if you're one of those people who has to have a blush or you don't feel like complete, I would recommend using a brown tone blush and applying it kind of right above your contour. So I'm also going to go in with ColourPop Cruella de Vil and I'm going to add some more highlight because I'm feeling it today. So, and again, it's like a very white kind of base. Now, one thing I will say about the Jeffree Star setting spray or setting powder, if you use it, you're gonna need to use a setting spray. It sets beautifully with a setting spray. That's just Thunderstruck again from Kat Von D. A little bit right there because mama ain't got no lip. I am debating getting lip fillers. If that is something that people would like me to do a video on, I don't want to do a video on it because it's like clickbaity or anything like that. So like that's my kind of thing where like I don't want it to seem like I'm just, you know, trying to get subscribers. All right, this is the Kat Von D lash liner. Here's the trick with this. Do it in teeny little pokies. Give it a minute to dry. All right. This stuff will stay forever, which is great because I blinked and I got it all over the underneath of my eye. Okay, I wasn't gonna come back until I was done with the mascara-ing, but like newsflash, I'm into this mascara. We are going to do a quick spray. See how this mascara holds up, but I am actually like really into this mascara. I'm surprised by it. Ow. Okay, and it didn't run. So here's my two things. I'm gonna test out this NYX Dazed and Diffused look. I really love those looks. I did get sent it by influencer. Oh, too much. But I'm gonna test it out. I want to see how it works. I think it would be kind of good for this look because they sent me like this nice kind of nude color. It's like a warm nude, which will look kind of good with this eyeshadow. Dry. Oh, I think that's what I was saying earlier. I don't know if I did finish saying it or not. The nice thing about this, or the one thing that I will say, the one catch about the Jeffree setting powder is that you are going to need to set it. You're going to need to spray it. It does keep a little bit of its white cast, as you could see on my face before, until you set it with a spray. I do hope he comes out with a spray, because so far everything that he's done, I know people are really back and forth on him. That's fine. I have a thing where, like, for me, if your products work for me, like, they work for me. Another technique some people will use with setting powder, they'll go back in with their beauty blender just to make their peach fuzzies stay down. You can do that too. My eyes started watering, which is really why I took mine out. Okay. So I want to do, I think, just the inside of my lip. Now, the NYX, from what I understand, they're kind of going off the Korean, like, diffuse lipstick trend. So I'm just going to go on the inside rim of my lip. Okay. It's soft. It's definitely not going to stay for very long. I'm going to take a couple sips of coffee and this is going to be gone. And then it has a, like, little brush on the one side that you can kind of blend it out. And I kind of like that. In fact, it is such a natural color for me. Actually, this is a pretty universal nude, which is really hard to do. My eye is still watering. Okay. I'm gonna go in at the edges of my lip with another nude that I like, which is the Kat Von D Ophelia, and just kind of lighten that up there. So far, this is our look. So, let me know what you guys think. This is gonna be our concert look. Let me know what you think. Give me more ideas. Like, subscribe, comment. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the support. It makes me happy. I enjoy being here. I'm sorry this one's a little bit longer, but people have been asking for, like, an actual makeup look. Like, people who follow me on Instagram, which is miss.cheshire10. I'm also on Snapchat, I think, under the same thing. And then Twitter under the same thing. And you can always find me on all of those things. I love responding to people. I love hearing from people. If I said something that, like, you disagree with, that you think I should try to do it a different way, let me know. I like playing around with stuff like that. And yeah, till then, love you guys. Bye.